their last 8 overall. But to beat the Broncos, you have to slow down John Elway. How do you do that, Beasley?
Well, I wish I knew how to do that, and so does every defensive coordinator in the world. Right now, the guy's off to one of his best starts ever, completing 67% of his passes. But, I guess the best thing to do is to keep him off the football field by establishing a good running game, and that's what the Indianapolis Colts will try to do.
The strength of the Colts right now is their defense. Last week, the Colts, in beating the Cleveland Browns, had 5 sacks. They also had a defensive touchdown at the end of the game. They've got a great front seven with those 2 second-year players, Entman and Coriat, both back, and they can really put the heat on a passer, even a mobile one like John Elway.
Well, across that defensive line, they're well over 300 pounds. They will try to corral this guy. Now, this is a team that has been played very, very well. I mean, they've allowed just 1 touchdown in the last 8 quarters, 7 sacks, and you see the type of yards per game that they have allowed. So this is a team, a defensive team, that will challenge and can challenge. They've got one problem. They're worried about Chris Gould, their fine cornerback. He has a sore ankle, and he'll be replaced by Ashley Ambrose. And with John Elway at quarterback, one place you don't want to be fiddling is with the defensive secondary.
Here are the Colts kicking it off. Back deep is Verdun for Indianapolis. Broncos kick it off, and Verdun takes it from the 4-yard line. He breaks it across the 30 and out across the 20 and out close to the 24-yard line. And there is the starting quarterback, Jack Trudeau, a veteran from Illinois, drafted in the 2nd round 7 years ago. The big and expensive up-front blockers have been doing the job. Wolford and Dixon, Loudermilk, the former Viking at center. Schultz and Zephyrus Moss on the right side. Anthony Johnson, the 2nd-year back from Notre Dame, and Roosevelt Potts, a rookie from Northeast Louisiana, the runners. Top draft choice Sean Dawkins will be coming in as an extra wide receiver. Colts have been using a very diverse offense, moving the ball all over the field. You'll see Trudeau going to all different receivers. Right now he goes to the run, and the big rookie, 255-pound Roosevelt Potts, is taken down by Simon Fletcher. The Broncos rate only 27th overall out of 28 teams in overall defense. Granette, Reagan, and Oshedin are the front 3. Kroll, Wyman, Mecklenburg, and Fletcher, 4 terrific linebackers. And they've got great safeties from Dennis Smith and Steve Atwater. Between them, they've been to the Pro Bowl 8 times. Johnson turns it up. Somehow Anthony Johnson finds his way downfield, close to the 36-yard line, and he appears to have a first down for Indianapolis. Dennis Smith ran him out of bounds. Looked like he was going to get shut down in the backfield, Beasley.
Well, they had a problem with the handoff. You see, Trudeau has to really reach out and find his running back, and then Johnson did what he could do there to try to make something out of the play. It's a pretty good job and a testimony to his foot speed. I mean, that really should have been no play.
Anthony Johnson, who comes in tied for the team lead in receptions. He has 15 catches. Now the Colts with a first down, working from their 35-yard line. Johnson looks for a hole and finds one. Anthony Johnson fights his way ahead for a gain of 10 yards. And yet another Indianapolis first down. So that running game, Beasley, you were talking about, the Colts were looking to develop. They're doing early.
Well, you got to credit that offensive line. They brought in a couple of fine blockers. You see the work up front, and then Anthony Johnson, you got to remember that he's one of those guys that gained 1,000 yards in his career. He had 1,000 yards last year, so he's got some talent. You put that with an offensive line, you got something going.
Johnson now comes in motion on the 1st and 10. They go to the run. Here's Potts, the big fullback, taking on tacklers. But they cut him down. He does gain almost 4 yards. He's close to the midfield line. Knocked down by outside backer Mike Kroll, who was a consensus All-American at Nebraska. Teddy Marchibroda, in his 2nd year as the head coach of the Indianapolis Colts, he really turned this team around 2 years ago. They were the worst. They've got 2 great players in Entman and Coriat. Marchibroda took over last year and directed them to a 9-7 record. And they were really a couple of plays away from being 10-6 or maybe even 11-5. Anthony Johnson doesn't get much. Quickness. Dave Wyman, the former All-American backer at Stanford, number 57. Who came here from Seattle, fills the gap. And so did Dennis Smith.
You know, they said they were going to try to establish a running game. And so far, that's exactly what they've done. They've got some good running backs. A couple of those guys you may not know much about. Roosevelt Potts, a huge So does Anthony Johnson.
Big pass rush will be coming now. Third down. Trudeau needs 5. And the ball is slapped back at him. So the Denver defense, after the Colts move the ball, makes the stop at midfield, and Indianapolis has to punt it, and they'll do it with one of the very best in Ron Starr.
Well, the defensive line did his job that time. It was Carl Mecklenburg getting the hand up and knocking the ball down. Did a super job.
There is Glenn Milburn, rookie from Stanford. He's been terrific, a second-round draft choice. On start, 5 times a Pro Bowl punter, hits it very high. Well placed, and Milburn is forced into a fair catch, and he lets it hop very wisely, stepping out of the way, signal for the fair catch, then ducks the ball, and it goes in for a touchback. So when we come back, the Broncos will go on offense the first time from their 20.
Oh, kissy face. Used to be just me and him, a couple studs cruising around in a hot new Integra. And then she came along, and boy, do I know where this is headed. The ball and chain, a rugrat. Next, I'm doing time in a minivan. Hey, they make a 4-door Integra with a VTEC engine. I end up with it all. The wife, the kid, the house, the dog. Wait a minute. I'm the dog.
Back to Denver, and now let's take a look at the natural gas quarterback efficiency ratings. Boomer Esiason off to the best start in the AFC, 111.5, followed by Montana, who was injured today with a hamstring injury, had to leave that game against the Raiders. Neil O'Donnell from Pittsburgh doing well, and so is Elway, right behind in the 4th position. Jack Trudeau grades out number 11, but one of the strengths of Trudeau is he's not a mistake maker. He doesn't turn the ball over in critical situations. Very savvy player, might not have the arm and accuracy some of the top-rated players have, but he's very solid. Elway now on a long count, first down. Here comes the big rush. Tip ball. It might have been picked off. Colts think they have it. Let's see what the official says. And this is where you want replay, but it's not here to be had. Eugene Daniel had the ball. It was tipped on the play by Michael Brandon.
Well, let's take a look and see if we can find out whether or not this was actually an interception. You see the tip first, and then you'll see Eugene Daniel lay out, and it looks as if Eugene Daniel came down with the ball.
Sure did. So the first break of the day goes with the Broncos. Running with the ball, running hard is Rod Bernstein, who's been under criticism here. Jason Belzer comes up and makes the stop, who's the leading tackler for the Colts. As we look at the Denver Broncos on offense, Gary Zimmerman, 3 times a first-team All-Pro tackle with the Vikings. Wydell, Karts, Habib, who's come in as a very expensive free agent. John Elway with Bernstein in the backfield. Bernstein ripping off a 9-yard gain, but he hasn't delivered the goods so far as a Bronco, averaging just 2.3 a carry coming in. Robert Del Pino gets his first call. We're told he's going to get a lot of work today, the former Ram. Number 39, a hard running back out of Missouri, and he gets enough, it looks like, for the first down. But a very interesting early decision. It looked like it might have been an interception by Daniel, but the official said no.
Well, they got away with certainly a big one that time. Steve Edmond made a nice little charge. Got some penetration to stop that last play. Good job.
With a run, and Del Pino leaving his way ahead, running hard, breaks it across the 35-yard line for an 8-yard gain, tackled by Jeff Herrod of the Colts. The front 7 of the Indianapolis Colts, McClendon, Empman, Siragusa at 330 pounds, playing very well. Bickett had 3 sacks last week in the win over Cleveland. Ambrose starting at the left corner. He is in for Chris Good, who has an ankle injury. Stargell and Buchanan, who's a rookie, will be coming in a lot. No score in the first quarter. Shannon Sharp goes in motion. Elway with a quick drop and a quick throw, and he makes the connection for a first down out to the 44-yard line. Shannon Sharp is the receiver.
Shannon Sharp is a huge target. He's one of the strongest tight ends in the National Football League. Bench pressing a little bit under 500 pounds. Just a simple play. Shannon breaks to the inside. He's got the courage. He's got the size and the courage to pull in a ball like that. That's a talented young athlete. They call him a tweener. He's kind of half wide receiver and half tight end.
He, of course, is the brother Sterling Sharp, the consensus all-pro wide receiver for Green Bay. Penalty markers go down. Elway on the run. Here comes the rush. Gursa closes in on him. Completed to Rod Bernstein. And let's see what all this is about as the penalty marker went down at the snap of the ball.
Well, it looked like it was the Indianapolis defensive line that was offside. So if that's, in fact, is the truth.
Offside. Defense on decline.
There goes.
First down.
I'll tell you what, that was a complicated little play, and once again, John Elway shows what he's all about. You see the defensive line jumping, that's because Elway's got that big body and that big voice, barking, making him come offside. Now look at that little back pedal, and then the power to just flick it back. And boy, Bickett even hit the guy, and Bernstein still brings it in and takes it up the sideline. Big play.
Big play and a dangerous throw by Elway as he put it up, lofted it up. It could have been picked, and instead it goes for a first down gain. As the Broncos have now advanced inside the 35. Here's Bernstein, who for his career with San Diego has been a 5-yard a carry rusher, and the Colts remember him well. He really ran well against them at Indianapolis last season. San Diego winning its first game last season, then going on to win the division in the AFC West.
You know, you say he ran well. He had 150 yards. I call that running well. He's 6'3", 238 pounds in his 7th year, and he's been under a little criticism. People are wondering where has he been, where he is really showing up today.
Bright, sunshiny day. Elway with a play fake. Gets some time. Takes a look. Fires downfield, and the ball is caught beautifully by Vance Johnson. Jason Belzer saves a touchdown for the moment.
Well, John Elway had all the time in the world. That offensive line is doing a super job. Now, this is a veteran wide receiver just finding a seam, a spot in the defense with the courage to go up, catch the ball with nothing but hands. They're glad to have him back.
Elway in his 11th year. Now the Colts fans know the old story. When they were in Baltimore, Elway was the top pick in the draft in '83. But he would not play for Baltimore. And subsequently was traded to Denver. Here is the pitch back going to Rod Bernstein. He runs wide and gets inside the 5-yard line where Ashley Ambrose brings him down. So Bernstein, who's been under criticism, has not run well. And one of the things he said on a show here that didn't go over well, he said, well, in San Diego, I had a better offensive line.
Well, that doesn't go real well in the locker room. But apparently all is forgiven. That's a nice little option play that really worked out well.
Rick Venturi, defensive coordinator, living every play with his defense. The Colts defense being challenged now. Broncos inside the 5, second and goal from the 3. Del Pino, he's in, and the Broncos take the lead.
Well, they really like Del Pino. They say he runs hard. He's strong. Elway was saying that he would get the ball to Del Pino some today. Look at the left side of that offensive line. You got to talk to Gary Zimmerman, Dave Weidel, those guys, Keith Karts, all of them in there really pushing hard, creating the seam. And look at Del Pino. That's nothing but power and attitude.
Now the rookie place kicker, Jason Elam from Hawaii, booms the extra point up. And the Broncos may have gotten a break early. There's a penalty marker down on the extra point. May have gotten a break when it looked like a tip ball. Could have been intercepted by Daniels.
Defense, number 38. The penalty will be assessed on the kickoff. Point is good.
As you hear, will be assessed on the kickoff. So Denver draws first blood.
This year,
with Beasley reached on Cricky back at Mile High Stadium. An impressive opening drive by the Broncos after they stopped the Colts. 80 yards in 10 plays. Delpino from 2 yards out in the payoff end. And now Elam booms a kickoff in the mile-high air right out of the end zone. This is a young man they're expecting to one day break Tom Dempsey's 23-year-old field goal record, 63 yards, set back in 1970. Next Saturday, unbeaten Notre Dame goes for its 6th consecutive win of this season when they go against the Pitt Panthers. Game time is at 1:30 p.m. Eastern time here on NBC. Fighting Irish off to a 5-0 start after a 48-20 win at Stanford yesterday. Now the Colts, who ran the ball early in the opening drive of the game for a couple of first downs, start from their 20. Over the years, Denver has beaten the Colts 8 of 10 games. Colts 0-4 at Mile High. Free ball. Potts gets it back. The rookie, Willie Oshedin, putting the big rush on. Roosevelt Potts, 255-pound rookie fullback, recovers to grab the ball.
Also, Simon Fletcher coming in from the left side of your screen. He comes in real hard, also trying to make a play on the ball that's on the ground. That's just a super surge by number 91, Willie Oshedin. Really gets in and breaks up the play.
Anthony Johnson cutting in, bouncing out, and Anthony Johnson with some terrific running gets out across the 25-yard line. On a second down and long play, 2nd and 12. He's knocked out of bounds by Atwater. See where they marked the ball, but it looks to be for a gain of about 9 yards.
This is a super running back. He's had big gains before. Look at the balance there. He's had big gains. He ran for 240 yards against New England last year, had over 1,000 yards. So this is a guy that a lot of people don't know much about. But Anthony Johnson's got some big-time talent. Weighs 223 pounds, 6 foot tall.
Former co-captain at Notre Dame, Anthony Johnson.
You see him splitting out wide. Sometimes he plays wide receiver.
Trudeau's looking at him right now, throwing to Johnson. Looked like interference from Smith, but none is called.
Well, the referee is saying that the ball was uncatchable. He showed that signal over his head, meaning the ball is uncatchable. That's the reason that there was no penalty there, because there was certainly contact before the ball got to him.
Dennis Smith has been a great one for 13 seasons now. Former first-round pick out of Southern California, 5 times a Pro Bowl player for the Broncos. Ron Stark will be hitting a punt from deep in his own end. And Milburn is back. He could be in position to give a good return here. A well-hit ball. Tremendous hit by Stark. Milburn at his 28. He's a dancer. But he runs out of steps at the 33-yard line. Great special teams coverage. Back in a moment. Broncos head coach Wade Phillips. He wanted more rushing today. His team's not been running well, but you see they already have half their average production so far this season. Almost all of it. Rod Bernstein. The rest, Bob Delpino, who was in for the only touchdown. Delpino with a 2-yard touchdown burst to cap an 80-yard drive. Broncos set to go again. Elway looks over his team. Elway said this is the best offensive line he's ever played behind, and he thinks he's throwing the ball as well or better than he ever has. Jim Fossil, their offensive coordinator, calls it the take a profit offense as Glenn Milburn breaks it wide and turns it upfield. Not big, but there's nobody on the field as fast.
Milburn told us yesterday that he's the change of pace guy, and that's exactly what you saw there. His tremendous foot speed and balance utilized in the pitch that time. Boy, that's a talented guy, and he's a dangerous guy. He's one of the guys that Rick Venturi said they have to stop. They're worried about Milburn, and they're worried about Shannon Sharp, and of course every defensive coordinator is worried about John Elway.
Elway goes back to the run again. It's for Milburn. Same play, bouncing to the outside. He's ahead for almost 5 yards. He really does change it up easily.
He really does. He's got great speed, and he'll remind you of Tony Dorsett with his bounce-out ability. And that's a big statement I know I'm making. Now, it's a bad exchange here. You see him trying to re-grab the ball, or he might have really done some damage here. But that ability to start up and then bounce out quickly, that's what Dorsett did well, and that's what Milburn does well.
Elway from the shotgun. Rush comes. He fires a fastball right to his tight end, Shannon Sharp, and he's ahead for a Denver first down as Quentin Coriat is in to make the pop, but way downfield.
Now, this is part of that new offensive system that Jim Fassel has brought here. 1, 2, 3 step and quick throws. it has improved John Elway's completion percentage, and you saw an example of it there.
Denver in a hurry up, 11 yards in the last throw. Elway stands in, walks it to an open Glenn Milburn. He's at his best in the open field. He's ahead for 12 yards and another. Denver first down.
Jim Fassel told us they'll use that hurry up at different situations. Now, last time that the Broncos were on the field, they were on the field for, the Colts were on the field for a long time, their defense. So this hurry up gets them tired, especially flying here to the thin air at Mile High Stadium. So they're using it now because the defense is tired.
There's a blitz. Elway reads it and throws the ball away wisely. That could be a late call there. Elway thrown to the turf, and the Bronco fans let the referee hear about it. Dale Hamer. No call, though.
That might have been more of a trip up at the end. No, little push, little shoulder on the back. Little statement to say I was here.
Now Elway sets his team with 4 wide receivers in the game. From the shotgun, it's 2nd down and 10. Here's the rush, and there goes John Elway firing on the run. Derek Russell down to the 10-yard line. Great offense by the Broncos.
See, that's another one of those John Elway things. He drops back. He's got plenty of time. Doesn't see anything. But his unbelievable athletic ability. Did you see the spiral on that ball, despite the fact he was running almost full speed? That's what he does best.
Bernstein, touchdown, Denver. Broncos could be putting on a knockout punch early.
Well, that's all offensive line. Take a look as Bernstein just picks a hole. He's got 2 or 3 selections because of the play of the offensive line, and then a big back against a little bitty defensive back. It's almost impossible. You're right at the goal line, and Bernstein running well. Play calling is beautiful. Colts in a lot of trouble because it's a team that's still trying to learn how to win a big-time game in a tough place to win like Mile High.
No place tougher than Mile High. Extra point by Elam is up and good. So the Broncos get a standing salute for good reason. Two possessions for the Broncos, 2 touchdowns, and the Rocky Mountain Thunder really starting to cascade down from sold-out Mile High. Another impressive scoring drive. Bernstein on the payoff end this time with a 9-yard touchdown run after some great throws off the run by John Elway. And for a 3rd time today, Elam is in to kick it off. Start of the game with a kickoff. Now his 3rd kickoff coming after the 2nd touchdown. Verdan and Culver are back for the Colts. High spinning kick that'll be returned by Verdan. 2-time Pro Bowl player as a kick returner. He breaks it loose. Upended, almost broke it a long way, but he was finally upended by Frank Robinson, number 36.
You know, the free agent linemen are really paying a dividend. Try to find number 75, Brian Habib, and you'll see that he'll turn his man, Steve Entman, out. There he's got position, then turning him out, the veteran Rod Bernstein stepping right into the hole and then exploding. And a little defensive back against a big back like Bernstein equals touchdown. There's Habib. He came in from in his 5th year out of Washington, a free agent from Miami this year.
Straight ahead carry. Throw to Anthony Johnson, who's out to the 25-yard line. Dennis Smith coming up to make the play. It was interesting we talked to Smith, Beasley, about how he's been such a great run stopper. One of the things he does is he reads the hole like the running back does, and a lot of times with his speed, he picks the hole where he thinks the running back is coming. He gets there ahead of the running back, makes those thunderous hits.
He runs right at the line, and when he sees an opening, he steps in.
Big old throws. Picked off. On the run is Tyrone Braxton. Inside the 20. And knocked out of bounds at the 10. Jeff George alert should be on now. We could be seeing George come into the game anytime.
Well, Jack Trudeau told us that he knows what's lurking behind him. And the first couple of times he makes a mistake, He knows that number 11 is standing on the sideline. It's a zone, and Braxton, simply looking at the quarterback, jumps underneath with perfect timing. Great balance, good hands, and then a super run after the play.
Broncos coming off an off week. There is Jeff George on the sideline, the man who held out for 36 days, demanding to be traded. Colts wouldn't do it. That is the #1 pick in the entire draft. 3 years ago, you know he's going to be in there before long. Elway to Bernstein. Tackled by Empman at the 5-yard line. Gain of about 4 yards on the play.
The same play once again. That was the draw play that Bernstein scored on earlier. What they're looking for is the defensive line to step into their rush lanes, and then a veteran running back like Bernstein can just look and find and pick the little holes. And it's a great, it's a play that the offensive linemen like, because they can take the defensive lineman wherever the defensive lineman wants to go. They don't have to force him to the left or to the right. They just ride him and push him. And a great back like Bernstein can step in and find the hole.
Denver coming into this game as the #2 rated team in the entire NFL in their pass offense with Elway. But they were near the bottom in rushing, although they've run well today. They were 26th in rushing at the start of the day. Next Sunday, it is a doubleheader day on NBC, beginning at 12:30 Eastern Time with NFL Live. And most of you will see the Dolphins go against the Browns at Cleveland. Some of you will see the Bengals meet the Chiefs. In the second half of our doubleheader, most of you will see the Jets, who are off to a 14-0 lead over Philadelphia today. That'll be L.A. Raiders. Some of you will see the Chargers take on the Steelers, or the Cardinals go against the Patriots. Check your local listings next Sunday. A doubleheader NFL day on NBC Sports. Teddy Marchibroda, who's a quarterback expert, played with the Steelers at QB, and he's coached some of the great ones. Burt Jones at Baltimore, Roman Gabriel with the Rams. He was with the Redskins, and of course he coached Jim Kelly at Buffalo before he took over the Colts for a second time as head coach. Elway swings it out. Bernstein breaks one tackle, and he's knocked down hard. There's a free ball, but they rule he was down, and it'll be 3rd down and goal from about the 3-yard line.
You know, this Denver offense is working like a well-oiled machine right now. Look at the zone blocking by the offensive lineman, and then great balance by Bernstein. I'm sure everybody thought he was down there, but just great balance. Gets him in position. Nice little gain off of something that should have been nothing.
Now Elway steps into the shotgun. He's very good at the quarterback draw in situations like this. 3rd and goal from inside the 5. He drops, he looks, he fires it out to Milburn. He's in. What a show by the Broncos.
What a perfect example of speed and execution. The snap was so quick, the throw was so quick, and the breakout by Milburn so fast that the defense couldn't even react to it. That is execution at its best.
The execution could not be better. Right now we have a familiar scene. Jason Elam on the field to kick an extra point.
You know, Don, this kid is perfect.
Yeah.
He hasn't missed anything.
No, he hasn't missed a field goal or an extra point. And he stays perfect, as do the Broncos, with a brilliant first quarter of play. 41 seconds to go in the first quarter, and Denver has opened up a 21-0 lead as we have some heavyweights brawling at the 5-yard line. Order is restored, a brief scrimmage.
Now, while by the big defensive lineman untangled there, Big John Hand, number 78. That's a guy you don't want to fight. But while they head to the sideline, going back to the touchdown by Mr. Milburn, this guy is so quick and his hands are so good. See the setup? I mean, immediately, number 22 disappears from your screen. The linebacker's assigned to get out to him, and it's almost impossible for Quentin Coryatt. As fast as Quentin is, number 55, he's still not able to move with that young guy. And look at John. He knows he threw it perfectly. The snap was perfect. The backup, the back pedal, the throw. He's so excited about what they've got this year.
He really is. He thinks they can go a long way, and off today's performance, they look like as good as anybody in the league, as Elway has now thrown his 6th touchdown of the season. He's only been intercepted twice, averaging over 67% completions for the season.
Well, the Colts, sorry, Don, the Colts need something to rally around at this point. They need to do something, and like you said earlier, maybe that Jeff George watch for the second half or later on in the second quarter coming up. Maybe that's an appropriate call.
High spinning kick. This will be run back by Noah One. Verdan takes it 5 yards deep and downs the ball. So again, the Colts send their offense out with the long field to go. Jack Trudeau still directing the offense for Indianapolis.
You know, Trudeau, I asked him about this Jeff George thing, and like the veteran that he is, he handles it so well. That's why they like him so much. Very mature. He just said, what can I do? You know, it's just one of those things. All I can do is, he said, the worst thing that can happen to me is I go back to being the backup. So he's enjoying it while he's in there.
Jeff George checking it out. He's been back now longer than he was away. He was away 36 days. He's been back for 40. So he's ready to play. Here's a blitz, and Trudeau is swept under. Mike Kroll, number 51, as fast as any linebacker in the National Football League.
Now, you got to remember, this is only the 2nd sack of the season given up by Indianapolis. So that's quite a feat for this Denver defense to come around that corner against this set of offensive linemen. You talked about Kroll. He had an unbelievable rookie year. I think he had like 12 sacks in 10 games. Well, lately they put him in pass coverage. That's a rare blitz for him, and it probably caught Indianapolis off guard.
Mecklenburg also had a big rush. Here's Dennis Smith, and there's a perfect illustration, Beasley. As Beasley, you like those big hits in the secondary. He used to play.
And let me tell you something. He hit a man. Look at he knocked Roosevelt out. Now, you got to remember, Roosevelt Potts weighs 260 pounds. He's one of the hardest young runners in the National Football League, and the man is unconscious. Dennis Smith is one of the biggest defensive backs in the league, well over 200 pounds in his 13th year. His timing is impeccable. You're going to see a blare come into your screen right there. Oh, that's amazing.
Boy, that was home run pop.
Both men hurt.
We have to be able to communicate.
Back. Colts going offense again. 3rd down now and 10. Here's the big rush. Trudeau trying to screen it off, and he has to throw it away as he's flattened in the end zone. Simon Fletcher just flattened Jack Trudeau as he released the ball. He's slow getting up.
And looking at the hit here, Dennis Smith runs at the line, and he tries to anticipate the hole that the running back is going to select. You see both men almost go out like two heavyweight punchers hitting each other at the same time. That was an amazing blow.
Smith talking yesterday about how a big hit can change the momentum of the game. Well, the momentum's been with Denver since the opening possession for the Broncos. There is the punt downfield, and it's downed inside the 25-yard line. First quarter stats, like the scoreboard, are all Denver Broncos. 3 times the total yards.
The first down ratio is almost ridiculous, 11-2. It has been all Denver. Also, total yards, you see the differential. It's amazing. It's almost like Wade Phillips drew those stats up. That's the way you'd want to start out the first quarter.
Broncos were beaten in their last game. You'll remember that Monday night game at Kansas City when they were beaten 15-7. Didn't allow a touchdown, but they did give up 5 field goals and lost the game as Del Pino, who scored the day's first touchdown, runs well to the outside. They're getting that bounce to the outside in the big yards.
You know what they like about Del Pino is the way he runs. I mean, he runs so hard. Most guys would come down. Great blocking by the wide receiver, Vance Johnson. Most guys would come down on that first hit He still keeps those legs churning. That was a super play and good contribution by everybody on the Denver offense. Good blocking by the wide receivers.
We're informed that Roosevelt Potts, who took that big strike from Dennis Smith, has a slight concussion, and it's questionable whether or not he'll be back today.
You know, you see him looking around right now, looking at the ground, looking all around him. When you have those concussions, and I've had them, the medical staff ask you, what's your name, what town are you in? They ask you questions like that, and you give the wrong response, and you sit down for the rest of the day.
Broncos having a great day rushing the ball. Delpino with that last carry has gained 21 in 4 carries. .69 yards rushing for the Broncos in just over a quarter of play. This is a team averaging 64 yards per game coming in rushing the ball. Elway could go deep on 2nd and inches. Markers come in, thrown in by the umpire, who stands behind the linebackers. That could be a definite offensive penalty. Like a motion penalty.
Ball starts. Front of the snap. Number 89 of the offense. 5 yards.
Reggie Johnson, the tight end, in motion early.
Well, you get a clear shot of number 89 this time at the top of your screen. He kind of dashes the head forward. Just a little anticipation. He had a big block on that particular play. A little too anxious to get to it.
Atlanta Braves putting the pressure again on San Francisco as they beat the Colorado Rockies yet again. The Rockies drew over 4.4 million in the stadium at home this year to set a Major League Baseball record. 0 for the season against Atlanta. Elway on 2nd down and 5 eludes the rush. Here's a marker, free ball, and Elway's hit hard. Knocked down at the 23-yard line. Willie Pegues getting pressure on. Elway was looking towards Derek Russell. Siragusa, 330-pound defensive tackle, puts pressure on up the middle. Elway told us he was concerned about those big pass rushers, Entman and Siragusa, crushing the pocket. They're so powerful. They did there.
Holding. Number 79 of the offense. 10 yards. Repeat 2nd down.
Dave Waddell.
You know, Waddell, you can see him there on the left side of your screen, and that happens so often when a quarterback has to run and move around. That was a body tackle. You know, whenever the quarterback comes out of that true pocket, sometimes it changes the leverage that a lineman has, and he has no choice but to grab something.
And he grabbed number 7, and that makes it 2nd down and 16 for the Broncos. Take the draw to Milburn. Now Elway throwing on the run. What a throw to Milburn. He's in the open field, and he crosses the 35-yard line, and another marker comes in. Ashley Ambrose, starting for the injured Chris Good at left corner, made the tackle. Holding on the defense. Milburn is absolutely uncatchable when he's in the open field.
Boy, and that was a great play.
Holding. Defense. Number 45. And recon. 1st down.
Tony Stargell called for holding.
And take a look at Milburn. He's right here. They're going to fake the draw up the middle, and then he's going to break that type of pattern. What a beautiful play. It kind of stuns it. There's the fake. It stuns the defense for a second. Then Elway, with his great ability to throw on the run, catching Milburn running full speed. Had he known that there was a player behind him, I bet he could have made a move on him. This kid is unbelievable.
He really is good. Drafted in the 2nd round, playing like a high 1st-rounder. Bernstein, or Delpino, tries to angle back, and he's knocked down in a 1st down carry by Big John Hand, one of the biggest defensive ends at 6'7", 310 pounds.
You know, you can't say enough about the job that the Bronco offensive line is doing, because you have to remember that this Colt defensive line, every man is over 300. It's one of the largest defensive lines in the game, so that Bronco O-line doing a great job so far.
Broncos jumping off to a quick 21-0 lead in the 1st quarter. We now have 12:43 to play in the 1st half. Denver with 2nd down and 10 coming up. Elway with time, running out of it. He's on the run. John Elway in open field, and he dives across the 50-yard line. A 14-yard gain and a first down. For the spotting the ball, it's going to be almost a 16-yard gain.
That's, this might be the superior athlete at the position. Everybody talks about Steve Young. They talk about Randall Cunningham. But this guy has all the speed in the world, all the balance. Now, he knows he's in trouble. Now, watch him take off right here. Now, that's when he starts just striding the good speed and the heady dive forward. He's a big kid. I mean, he gained about 6-7 yards on the dive. He's a big man.
Pitch back, Del Pino. He's ahead, gets good yardage. Cutting back, he's inside the Colt 45-yard line, down close to the 43. Elway's hit 9 of his first 11 throws today for 113 yards and a touchdown. One rush for 15 yards. So Elway's accounted for almost 130 yards offense.
Once again, that's the high percentage passing that they're trying to go to. And Elway doing a good job. That's the reason his pass completion ratio has risen so much this year.
Jim Fassel is offensive coordinator who coached him at Stanford for 4 years, calling it the take a profit offense. Any gain is a good gain. He's throwing some shorter patterns. Right guard moved early. It'll make it second down now and about 11.
Start of the snap. Number 75 of the offense. 5 yards. Still second down.
It's almost as if he heard the wrong snap count, because that wasn't a lean or a little dip. He exploded off the line. Watch the left side of the monitor. It's like he had the wrong snap count.
Because you look at those passing stats, Beasley. At Denver and Elway, 9 of 11 for 113, and Indianapolis, 1 of 5 for 1 yard. No pass offense. In fact, negative pass offense, because the one interception was run back and set up a touchdown. There's a throw, almost a pickoff. Poirier moving on the ball. Reggie Johnson, the tight end, was going for it as Elway triggered in that fastball, and Poirier almost had it for the Colts.
Well, that's one of those situations where Elway just said, I'm John Elway, and I can stick it in there. There was a box. There was an opening of about 2 feet. And one of the things about Elway, he throws the ball so hard. Look at that opening. That most defensive linemen and defensive backs and defensive linebackers can't catch that ball. You have to be a wide receiver and a good one to catch his ball when he's trying to stick it in something. Great velocity on the football.
He still might have the strongest arm in the game. Again, markers are all over the field at the snap of the ball as we had a defensive end jump offside for the Colts. Pegues was coming early, but we'll see if he was drawn offside.
Well, Elway got him that time with the snap count. I could hear it from here. Just that loud barking sound pulled Pegues right off the line. Now, if there was a hit,
defense, 5 yards, still third down.
He's one of the best at it.
Broncos playing a perfect football game.
See, you heard it right there. Hike, hike. And it makes that defensive lineman jump. It kind of gets their nerves if you've got the vocal power to pull them like that, and he certainly has.
Yeah, you can hear his signals up here. That brings up third down now. 6 yards to go for the first down for Elway and the Broncos. 4 wide receiver set. A throw and another terrific play by the Broncos is Garrett Russell, who Elway calls a tough guy who's making plays more and more. Dives at the ball. And on 3rd and 6, he's ahead for a 7-yard gain and a first down.
Russell is off to a good start. He had 6 catches against KC last week. Look at the reach out and catch that time. I mean, this is not a ball. This is not one of those great, perfect throws. This is a great catch. Nothing but the ends of his fingers were on the ball initially, and he was able to bring it in. That's a super effort, and the second good catch of the day for that game.
Elway putting it up again on first down. Another throw, another catch. Gain is short, but it is plus yardage down to the 36-yard line. Del Pino stopped by Pickett after a gain of 3.
Now, these are super plays they're calling. A lot of play fakes. putting people in motion. It confuses the defense. When people go in motion and their play fakes, run fakes, you start moving your eyes around a little bit, and you kind of lose sight of where everybody is.
Broncos have not punted the ball in the game. First 3 possessions, they scored touchdowns to take a 21-0 first quarter lead. That's how it stands now with 9:15 to go in the first half. Ampman fighting off the blocker and stuffing the ball carrier. Bob Del Pino.
Well, that's why they need plays. They need plays. The Indianapolis Colts need plays from their defensive linemen. They've got 4 of them in there. They went to the 4-3 this year, and they're not really getting plays. There's a play there by Ampman. They need more plays from the defensive line. Another thing we have to start watching for is that 5th guy. Defensive coordinator Rick Venturi says that he'll use the 4 and then blitz that 5th guy. We'll look for that.
Elway tough out a blitz. Here comes a blitz from the safety. Downfield throw. They thread the ball to Shannon Sharp between 2 defenders. Belzer was there and Ambrose was there, and yet Elway against the blitz delivered the ball perfectly.
You know, they had a safety blitz. I talked about the 5th guy, number 36 blitz, and what a throw! And it was almost picked off by Ambrose. He was lying in the corner, laying and waiting, and almost got a hand on his coming back. See him coming back? He almost got. That's a super throw. That's the only spot that ball could have been placed and caught.
Brings the ball down to the 22-yard line. Bernstein. Inside the 20, they'll spot him close to the 17-yard line. Knocked down by Siragusa.
You know, there wasn't much there, Don, but that was hard running. He landed on 1 foot and still pushed himself forward for another 2 yards. So Bernstein responding to the call. Today he's having a super day so far.
He really is. He's got something to prove. He worked Del Pino a lot more into the weekday workouts and more into this game today. And Bernstein looking like he did at San Diego in recent years, and he was one of the best. Pitch back. Bernstein again. Penalty marker down. As Bernstein is taken down at the 14-yard line. A gain on the play of 5 yards, but again a marker in the Bronco backfield. Stops the clock with 7:18 to play. First half.
Wade Phillips doesn't like that call.
Well, it hasn't been much for him not to like today, though.
He should be smiling.
Illegal formation on the offense. Number 68 was not on the line of scrimmage. 5 yards. Repeat, second down.
Well, sometimes those guys line up a little too far back. Just a little oversight. And that's what happened that time.
Russell Freeman, the right tackle. You see him off the line on the right side.
Yeah, the right side of the line is bowled back too far. That's the reason for the call.
Elway now 12 of 15 for 135 yards. Looking again. This time he's got a little bit too much lead on the ball for running back Glenn Milburn.
You know, you can see the conscious effort that Elway is putting forth to utilize this new short passing, quick drops, quick throws. In the past, with a couple receivers running downfield, John Elway would have tried to stick it in the end zone or stick it deeper. You know, try to use his considerable arm. But this time, you can see him trying to hit running backs, trying to hit tight ends. And there's Jim Fossil in the middle. He's the guy that's put in this new quick passing offense.
They're down. Elway looking for 11 yards or more. He's got it to Shannon Sharp. He's got the ball down to the 1-yard line. Yeah, that's a touchdown. Nobody touched him when he was down. Now they're going to give the signal. This is in college.
Well, they had to talk about it. They gave him the touchdown.
It is a touchdown. He went down at the 1, but no defender touched him to officially down him. So Sharp alertly wormed his way into the end zone for another touchdown. And total devastation is in evidence here as the Broncos eating alive the Indianapolis defense.
They're watching roll right on into the end zone. That's knowing where you are on the football field. What a talented guy. They watch him do the body roll. His body was in an awkward position when he caught the ball. Hey, that's a close one. He might have touched him at the 1 inch.
Nealon on for the point after, and this rookie kicker from Hawaii continues perfect in the NFL. 6-6 on field goals, and he's made all his extra points. Don Criqui with Beasley Reese back at Mile High Stadium in Denver, where near perfect football being demonstrated by the Denver Broncos as they've now taken a 28-0 lead on Indianapolis. Both these teams starting the day sharing their divisional leads. Kickoff is to Verdun at the 5. Going wide. Verdun finds his way ahead with a great return out to the 28-yard line. Perfect illustration why he's been to the Pro Bowl twice as a kick returner. The total yardage certainly showing the dominance of Denver. The scoreboard showing it even more. 28-0. That's amazing. Anthony Johnson, one of the few bright lights for the Colts on offense. He's made 4 good plays today. Gets ahead for a 6-yard gain.
One good sign is that Roosevelt Potts is back in the game.
Yeah,
Number 42. The guy that Dennis Smith knocked out for a moment. Made a nice block that time for Anthony. There's the big guy. You know, as big as he is in the school that he played at, he didn't play at major college, Northeast Louisiana. Nobody probably ever hit him like that.
Here comes a blitz. They go to the run. Potts thrown back. Well, Mecklenburg leads the charge. He's having another terrific year. Every season seems to be one for him. He's a 3-time Pro Bowl player. Drafted in the 12th round out of Minnesota. Going to be close enough to measure. 5:38 to play in the first half. Edmar Chabrota and Jeff George have been talking this over on the sidelines. And one of the rare good moments for the Colts offense, they get a first down. When do you think we might see Jeff George come in, Beasley?
You know, I wouldn't be surprised to see him come out in the second half and just see if they could get something going. There's no reason to pull Trudeau. He really hasn't made any major mistakes.
Just the one interception. There's a throw down the middle. There's a good play by the Colts. On the run is the tight end, Gary Cash, and he crashes down to the 25-yard line. So Trudeau with a good play fake, faking the run handoff, drops and throws to a wide-open tight end, Gary Cash. Makes his 14th catch of the year.
14th this year. He had 43 last year. This is a receiving tight end. He's a good blocker also. And a pretty good run after the catch. They found him in the seam. Good throw, good catch.
In the Broncos workout, their pass workout on Friday, they spent a lot of time against tight end reception plays. They have a number 88 on one of their backup tight ends. They really were expecting Indianapolis to go to Cash a lot. And to Johnson, who just caught that one. Anthony Johnson with the reception on first down as the Colts now have their deepest penetration.
You know, back to Trudeau for just a second. There's really he hasn't done anything that would make a coach say, let me get this guy out of here and bring my other guy in. The only reason I wouldn't be surprised if George got an opportunity later in this game or in the second half is that they know that George is their guy, and it might be an opportunity to see if he can jumpstart this team. Trudeau's doing a good job.
Right now he's got the Colts on the move. 2nd and 5. Penalty markers all over as the play is whistled dead.
Prior to the snap, number 67 in the offense, 5 yards.
Will Wolford, the $3.75 million a season left tackle, who's been one of the best in the NFL during his career at Buffalo and has certainly tightened up the pass blocking. There was concern that Will might not be able to go today. He had back spasms and missed practice late in the week, but he's been in there. He's got 6 thoroughbred racehorses. You have those things when you're a rich offensive lineman. He's from Louisville. He's from horse country. Played at Vanderbilt. Trudeau. Nice throw. Anthony Johnson down the sideline. Spins and goes out of bounds at the 17-yard line, just short of a first down. Lilo Lang was the guy that power drove him out of downs along with Darrell Hall.
It's good secondary play all the time by this unit. Two of the best safeties in the league. Quarterbacks are good and consistent. You see on your screen now they're rotating in a lot of people. They try to keep people fresh. They do it by design. Rotating linemen, rotating defensive backs.
Third and a yard for Indianapolis. You see the power set. Second back is Culver, and he dives inside the 15-yard line, and he has a first down for the Colts.
Big Roosevelt Potts the lead blocker that time, and good decisions by Culver working on the interior, but a good lead surge by Potts. You'll see here's a good look at it. Watch the big guy come through there. Good push by the offensive lineman, and Culver really just weaving well on the interior there. Good inside running. And I would have followed the big. I would have put my shoulders right on Potts' hips and roll right with the big guy.
Colts finally mounting a challenge, but they need this one to be taken in and many more as they're down 28-0. Trudeau stands in, lost it to the end zone. An overshoot. Braxton covering on the play. Langhorne running an out pattern.
One thing about having a veteran quarterback like Trudeau, he's not going to make a mistake inside the 20-yard line. He's too smart for that. So he threw that ball in a spot where nobody could catch it. And that's one of the luxuries about having a guy like Jack Trudeau running your offense. He knows not to throw the ball to anybody here.
Hester comes wide to the left. In the slot is Langhorne. Second down and 10. Blitz, they pick it up. Trudeau throws. And it's incomplete as a big hit is delivered. Langhorne coming across the middle, had the ball. Touch him, but Atwater made the contact just as the ball came in. An all-pro safety, Steve Atwater.
You know, Bronco defensive coordinator Charlie Waters told us that he had some special things planned, and that was one of those blitzes there. You know, when the team is starting to drive on you, having some success, you throw something to mix it up. You see the blitzer coming from the inside right there, and it forced Trudeau to throw the ball a little bit quicker than he really wanted to. Also, the referee helped out.
You don't usually get that. Third down throw. Here comes an all-out blitz. Trudeau on the run. He better dump it off, and he does to Kerry Cash's tight end. And he's down close to the 11-yard line, well short of a first down. Darrell Hall running him out of bounds, but the Colts will now send out their place kicker, Biasucci, who's been having a real good year. Dean Biasucci ready to try to put some points up for the Colts, who've not had much to cheer about today as Coach Marchibroda has seen his team fall behind 28-0. Biasucci, who struggled at times last year, is at 8 of 10 field goals this season, including one over 50 yards. This would be from the 19-yard line, a 39-yard attempt. On fourth down and 8, Colts electing to get points and get something out of this drive, which they do. Better than nothing, but they're still down 28-3.
This year during the
1:53 to play in the first half at Mile High Stadium. Don Criqui with Beasley Reese. The Domino's Pizza NFL Live halftime report is coming up shortly with Jim Lampley and Mike Ditka. Right now, the Denver Broncos looking like they might be ready to make another trip to the Super Bowl if they can keep up this level of play, although the road has been their nemesis. They have last season won only once on the road. That was at Cleveland. Over the last 5 years, they've won 14 on the road and lost 28. But here they are dominant. 90% wins in their last 20 home games. 18 out of 20 and heading towards 19 out of 21 with a 28-3 lead. Biasucci, who hit the field goal for Indianapolis' first points, kicking off. Russell back deep along with Glenn Milburn, and Milburn downs the ball. Touchback, and Elway will work his team from the 20-yard line. Penalty marker is down. The Colts were offside on the kickoff, so the ball will come out to the 35-yard line. Now, it was not out of bounds, it was downed. Let's see what the official ruling is. If there's a couple of penalty markers down. What? Dale Hamer.
Offside On the kicking team, number 31, re-kick.
They're going to re-kick it, yeah.
And see, that's another one of those strategies by Wade Phillips. Sometimes you just let that one go and take the ball when you're leading like you are, but they know they're at Mile High Stadium. Air's a little thin. Those guys are a little tired. So he'll make some of their starting linebackers and defensive backs run another 40-yard sprint, 50-yard sprint.
Yeah, he talked about that. That was interesting, Beason, when we were talking to him about there's more than a psychological advantage of coming into the night. So guys start to wear down in the fourth quarter that come in here. And he's helping him do that. Of course, now in the NFL, if a kickoff is out of bounds, it is immediately placed at the 35-yard line of the receiving team. Ball down in the end zone, and the Colts elect, the Broncos elect to have the Colts kick it again. So it'll be from the 30-yard line, positioning Milburn and Russell in good position to run it back.
And it guarantees them that they'll get a run back, especially when you've got Glenn Milburn back there. So two things at work here. They'll get Milburn to run, and they'll force the Colts to do something they don't want to do at Mile High Stadium. That's run another 60-yard sprint full speed.
And I'll tell you this, with 1:53 to go, and the way Elway has been throwing the ball, and this offense has been working, there's plenty of time for the Broncos to score yet another touchdown. They scored touchdowns in their first 4 possessions of this game. Terrific kickoff by Biasucci, and Milburn is going to down the ball, so we'll start from the 20.
Liberty Mutual.
The Denver Broncos have been absolutely perfect. Take a look at their first half possessions. Every time the result is the ideal result, a touchdown. So those Denver Broncos off to one heck of a start, and just absolutely perfect, especially on offense.
That Indy start you saw there, that was just before the Trudeau was intercepted, which subsequently turned into yet another Denver touchdown. Elway's thrown for 2 scores today. All he said yesterday to us, Beasley, is certainly bearing true here today, that this is the best offensive line he's played behind, that he's throwing the ball, he thinks, better than he ever has. He's played a near perfect game, a brilliant performance by Elway and the Broncos. Tough to beat at home every year, but today they're just magnificent. To the run, to Milburn. He does not have the size to break tackles, but he's got the speed to elude them and to make tacklers miss. That time the strong safety, John Baylor, got him. Seattle Seahawks, a team rising under their first-year quarterback Rick Meyer, having won their last 2 games. Right now they're in front of the San Diego Chargers 10-7, and we may be switching much of this network to that game. A much closer game right now, as you see Seattle is in the lead 10-7 over San Diego. Rays beat the Rockies again, and the Dodgers lead the Giants. Milburn, as the Broncos elect to let the clock run, a minute and 9 seconds to go in the first half. Milburn running back and forth and getting some yards. San Francisco playing some great ball, Beasley, beating Minnesota 21-9.
That Glenn Milburn can do more in a space of about 5 yards than anybody you ever want to see, and they love him in Denver. That last run, he ran for about 25-30 yards, all in about a 5-yard area.
Yeah, it's all east and west. But he ran the clock. Now Elway on 3rd down with picks to be needed. Ball on the field, and the Colts have it with 33 seconds left to play. How quickly they turn as they boo. Hey, you're going to boo this performance by the Broncos. Sam Clancy looked like he gobbled it up.
You know, we've seen some strange handoffs here today, and here's another one where he had to reach, and it hit Glenn Milburn right on the hand. I would fault Milburn for that one. It looked like he had the pocket was too closed. His arms weren't high enough.
So with the ball at the 20-yard line, Coach Marchibroda is going to be sending in the passing plays. 33 seconds left to go. Colts with their full complement of 3 timeouts. How many plays can they get out here? Here's the first one. A throw. A good strike down to Cash. They'll call timeout at the 7-yard line. 26 seconds left. Well done by Indianapolis. Langhorne over the middle.
And when you catch a ball over that middle, that particular middle, you are a brave person, because you know that Atwater's back there, and you know he's going to envelop you. There's another big hit. It takes a lot of nerve to catch this ball. First of all, he had to wait on it. And then that Dennis Smith will simply try to give you a...
Both of them are two knockout punchers at safeties.
Realignment they'll try to give you.
Atwater, 27, has been the first-team all-pro player at free safety for the last 3 seasons. Now in his 5th year out of Arkansas, he was the 20th player picked in the first round when he came out. 3rd defensive back pick. He's been great.
You know, you wonder how many years Dennis Smith could take that type of punish. He's in his 13th season. And still, those two safeties are just probably the toughest two in the game when it comes to dishing out the punishment.
Dennis Smith at USC was in a Hall of Fame room. His roommates were Ronnie Lott and Marcus Allen. I mean, you can't talk about All-Americans. You're talking about 3 guys who are going to end up in the Hall of Fame.
It's a great group. Here they come.
Trudeau looks. Incomplete. 23 seconds to go. First half. Clock stopped.
There's Atwater coming that time from his free safety position, and man, did they put a lot of pressure. Charlie Waters said they were going to do a lot of things like this, and look at everybody's coming. Smith is coming also. Both safeties came that time.
Trudeau, who has struggled against this Denver defense early, getting his team now some good throws. They got him in field goal position the last possession. Be a huge lift for the Colts, who have a history of coming from behind under Marchibroda if they can score a touchdown. Here's a throw and a catch. And out of bounds at the 3-yard line. Oh, they're ruling the clock is running, so it's down to 15 seconds and now stopped. Lilo Lang was there to cover Anthony Johnson of Indianapolis. Jeff George and Ted Marchibroda going over the offenses. Now Trudeau comes over for some counsel. 15 seconds to go in the first half. Hundreds of people are trapped beneath the earth. An entire building 8 stories tall, swallowed 60 feet underground. Tonight, an incredible world premiere movie here on NBC. It is Trapped Beneath the Earth, starring Chris Christopherson, an action thriller. It comes after an all-new eyewitness video and Sequest. That's all tonight on NBC.
There's the Denver defensive coordinator, Charlie Waters, the designer of that all-out, everybody meet at the quarterback blitz that we just saw. He told me before game time, I played with Charlie with the Cowboys, and so he gave me a little information, told me he had some special things planned, and we just saw one of them.
Let's see what special things the Colts might have, and certainly the Bronco defense has something special called an all-out blitz coming. Here it comes. Trudeau throws into the end zone, wide open for the touchdown as the tight end Kerry Cash. Terrific job by Jack Trudeau, waiting to the last possible second in the teeth of an all-out blitz. And Ted Marchibroda says we now have something to cheer about, and they do.
Somebody had to be open. Everybody blitzed. Now, I'm sure they anticipated the tight end blocking, and he did not.
Open isn't the word. I mean, he's like a guy climbed down from the stands and just walked out on the field.
Oh, it was like a mad rush of orange, and oddly enough, the tight end did not stay in and block.
You really have to credit Trudeau for standing in against a tremendous blitz and searching out the open man. So all of a sudden, the Colts, hopelessly out of this game, are starting to crawl back into it.
Look at this left side here. You're going to see everybody just attacking the tight end. He just ignored everybody and went through it. Everybody comes, and the tight end didn't block. I'm sure that the plan defensively is that if we all rush, he has to block. He did not. Touchdown. And watch Trudeau, like you said, waiting. Everybody, I mean, quarterbacks, safeties, everybody but the coaching staff and the new Denver cheerleaders rushed this time.
They're harder to catch in the pregame warm-ups than that one. Pass so wide open, he has a good tight end.
Yeah, he's a good one.
Big guy out of Texas.
He had 43 catches last year, and you know people don't think of him when you think of the top receiving tight ends, but he's among the among the best of them all. Now, you remember that Wade was the defensive coordinator here when Dan Reeves was the coach, and Charlie was the defensive backfield coach.
This touchdown drive initiating from just 20 yards out after the fumble recovery by Sam Clancy. So the Colts, now down 28-10, will kick it off with 10 seconds to play in the half.
The Colts have to be happy with this little turnaround. They've made some plays, capitalizing on Denver mistakes, and that's the name of the game. I think there might be a little crack open here, a little door open.
A ground ball downfield, let a lineman run it.
He won't do that again.
This is a man used to being the hitter, not the hit he. He gets stuck hard. The man picking it up was Bob Meeks, a backup guard.
There's nothing worse than getting hit so hard you lie flat on your back and you have to pull people, from between your legs and under your arms. And watch this. This is my chance. Maybe mom is watching. Dad always wanted me to play running back.
It's for sure one guy that was watching was the linebacker Paul Butcher, number 53, who's been a real good special teams player for the Colts.
His helmet is stuck.
Yeah, that might be on there for the rest of the evening. If to pry that off.
Look at there's blood on his arm. He's gonna have to somebody's gotta get a stick and get it under the helmet to pry it off.
Talking about so much for this glamour about running with the ball. I'd rather block people. Now Elway will go into the defensive posture. He'll down the ball to run out the clock. With 5 seconds to go in the first half. The Domino's Pizza NFL Live halftime report is coming up. Interesting day in week 5 of this NFL season as Elway and the Broncos. They really have, and here is a handoff. Del Pino turns it up. He meets a lot of Colts. Indianapolis with big, tough people up front. McClendon, Entman, Siragusa, and Hand across the defensive front. Harrod, Coriat, and Bickett back the line. And Rick Venturi coaches all of them.
This is it. This is it for the defense. They have got to stop the Broncos, and they got to stop them right now. Now, that Venturi went in the locker room, said, here's what they're doing, and he's got to sell it to the defense. He's got to be a salesman, and here's what we'll do to stop them. And now he's got to make it work.
Right now, they have a 2nd and 8 play to try and stop. John Elway has wide receivers to either side. Here's the rush. They get Elway, knock him down back inside the 20-yard line, and that is the first sack of the day for the Indianapolis defense. And Skip McClendon, a former Cincinnati Bengal, was the guy who broke through and got him, number 95.
Well, you can see the action on the line. It's got just a kind of a side swat with the right hand. As Elway is flushed, he falls in to make the sack, and you must remember that's only the 4th sack of the season given up by the fine offensive lineman for the Denver Broncos.
Blended another of those 300-pounders you were talking about, Beasley, in the defensive front. He's out of Arizona State. Now Elway needs 10 on a 3rd down throw. Here comes the rush. A blitz. Elway eludes it. Looking downfield, Elway's going to run, and he's going to get the first down. Beautifully done by John Elway. As the strong safety, John Baylor, came on a blitz. Elway eluded him and then took off on a run of almost 20 yards.
That is so demoralizing for a defense. They called the perfect blitz. They had him surrounded, and if it were not for the unbelievable athletic ability of John Elway, now Belser never should have jumped in the air. You can't tackle anybody. It's easy to put a move on a guy who's jumping up in the air. But still, now watch this. You stay on your feet here and break down.
Your options are limited.
I shouldn't be laughing.
Well, that was your business.
Yeah, what can you do when you jump in the air like that?
During your career with the Cowboys and Giants, also some time at Tampa Bay.
False start. Offense. Prior to the snap. Number 75. 5 yards. Still first down.
Very few athletes are at their best in the air, other than maybe Michael Jordan, huh?
Unless you're Michael Jordan or Superman, you need to.
He's good in the air.
Yeah, he's got some stuff in the air. He's got some air ability. But yeah, maybe Michael could have stopped and came back and got Elway.
Tremendous play by John Elway.
Take a look one more time. You stay on your ground, stay on your feet, force him to the inside where all your help is, and you make a tackle. Instead, with John Elway's running, it'll be first down.
Bernstein turns it wide, and he is going to get ahead to about the 35-yard line on a 1st and 15 play. He got back the penalty yardage, but really took a pop delivered by Jeff Harrod, a player that His defensive coordinator, Rick Venturi, says you absolutely can't measure the heart of Jeff Herrod. They thought he'd be out for weeks with a dislocated ankle. He's back the next game, playing great.
Watch all this. People go right, people come left. What a misdirection play that was, and a great job by Herrod and company to read it, snuff it out, and make the tackle. Herrod's not hitting like a guy who's basically playing on one ankle. He is moving well.
Elway's so brilliant, though, under an all-out rush when it seems all is lost. He sometimes is his very best. Here is a big slap back. Looked like Empman got a piece of that. If you ever saw Empman walk into a room in street clothes, you'd figure this is a guy that's got to be a great football player, which he is.
You know what? You can watch him here. He has so much ability. He's starting to play lower. He said he played real high last year because of the knee injury. Well, this time high came in handy. Got that big arm up and batted it down. He made some great plays last year, and he's starting to get more and more confidence in the knee that he hurt last year.
Looked like Empman might have been offside there. Elway could have a free play on 3rd and 2. He's going for the distance. Vance Johnson going for it. It's a pick. The ball is intercepted. Coming back with it is rookie Ray Buchanan, and he is out to the 26-yard line. But if the Colts were offside, it all comes back.
Offside.
They were.
Defense, number 90, 5 yards, still 3rd down.
But Elway, that play might not have been the same had Elway not known a player was offside. He knew no matter what happened adversely, whether it was a fumble or a pick like that, it was going to come back. It was for him a free play.
No, you have to do that as a quarterback.
Took a chance.
You know you got a free play. Now watch the interior of the line. There's Empman, and he couldn't stop himself. He had too much weight. He's too big. I mean, 300 pounds. You take a step, something's going in that direction. So he couldn't stop himself. Elway smartly, wisely takes a shot. Why not?
So it is still 3rd down, but now the yardage moves to 3rd and 6. Elway in the shotgun. Here's a safety blitz. Elway is hit. He gets the ball away and makes the completion for a 1st down. They're starting to send people at Elway. Elway complaining now to one of his blockers that Tony Stargell, number 45, came through untouched and got a clean shot at Elway.
That catch was made by young Tony Kimbrough. They say that this guy is a speedster. Oh, my goodness. What a shot he took. And that guy would be arguing also. I'd be talking to my guys also. So the protection broke down that time, and I believe it broke down from the tight end position out on the right side.
An attack defense right now for Indianapolis. They're going after Elway a lot of different ways. And then 1st down, he pitches back to Bernstein. He breaks it. And Bernstein is inside the 35-yard line down to the 34.
Hard, reckless running by a big man. That's a nightmare. When a guy like that steps into the secondary where the average guy is going to weigh 185 to 195, it's a nightmare. Is the best way to put it. Now watch him when he makes the cut up. Now right now he knows that he's in the secondary and it's time to just run and ramp over people. Super run.
Broncos set to go on 1st down. Delpino not much there. Darting back and forth, looking for an opening, and all he can find is big John Hamm. That'll bring up 2nd down and about 9. The scheduling is tough this year. Always is for Denver because they invariably have a good record, although last year was not their best season. But the Colts had a 5th place schedule last year. This year, it's much tougher. Today at Denver. Next week at home to play Dallas at Indianapolis. Open date, then on to Miami. Later they play at Washington. They have to take on the NFC East, which is up there.
Safety blitz coming.
Elway throws the ball away, but it's completely legal the way he did it. Another good play by John Elway.
Now that time, Belzer learned from the time that he jumped up in the air. That time he stayed on. He stayed on the ground that time, and look at the result. Now let's watch him. He's sneaking up, coming up from the outside. Stay on the ground, chase him down, and there's nothing he can do but throw the ball away. That's a fine job by John Bailey.
So that forces the Broncos into a 3rd down and 9 play. They're sending those defensive backs a lot here, Beasley.
Well, they have to do something. They have to mix it up and do a little gambling and play it off that time.
Here comes the rush. Elway triggers it out, and a nice catch by Sterling Sharp, just short of a first down, it would appear. We'll see where the spot is. And he might have it by the nose of the ball. Shannon Sharp, the brother of All-Pro Sterling Sharp, and Shannon making a diving reception very close to a first down.
You know, Shannon and Sterling.
Marker down as a penalty against Denver. Excuse me, Beasley.
Came into this game with 19 catches, so there's a little brotherly competition going on. Shannon is off to a good day. He'll probably call his brother tonight.
Offense, number 65 was not on the line of scrimmage. 5 yards. Repeat third down.
Wade Phillips not happy with these guys not being on the line of scrimmage. That's twice now. This time it was the left tackle, Gary Zimmerman, who's one of the best tackles in football. So instead of a first down gain, take a look here, Reed. So
let's
down 15.
Let's roll and take a look. You can see him just come off just a little bit.
Elway meeting just under 15 from the shotgun. Here's the rush. There's the throw, and a good open field tackle put on by Jason Belzer, a free safety from Oklahoma. Mike Pryor, who played free safety for the Colts in recent seasons, went to Green Bay as a free agent. And now we're going to have long distance. Let's see what they call now. Fourth down coming up. The ball is positioned at the 36-yard line. 8 minutes and 49 seconds left to go. Third quarter. The hold will be at the 44-yard line. A 54-yard attempt for Jason Elam, who hasn't missed a kick in the NFL this season. He hits it. Spinner. It carries short. So not only does he miss for the first time, but the Colts have a first stop in the third quarter in very good field position when we come back.
This is the Sports Car.
NFL on NBC is brought to you by Pontiac and your local Pontiac dealer. We are driving excitement. By Heineken, just being the best is enough. By Rayovac Renewal, reusable alkaline power. That's the power of renewal. And by Xerox, the document company. See your documents differently. See your business differently.
Back at Mile High Stadium in Denver, Colorado, you see the passing numbers of Jack Trudeau improving greatly in the second quarter. He threw for the Colts only touchdown just before halftime. Now the Colts with their first possession of the second half. Down by 18, Trudeau backpedaling, swings it out. He gets Roosevelt Potts, that big rookie fullback. This big guy is not done until he's across midfield. He's still not done until he's to the 40-yard line. Early he was knocked out. He comes back with a knockout play.
Now he said he wanted to be the go-to guy, and we talked early on in this broadcast telling you that this guy's going to be special. The coaches are really excited about it because he can do everything. He can block, he can catch, as you see here, and then after the catch he can run. A surprising thing, at 260, he told me when he was 250, he ran a 4.56 in the 40. So that's unbelievable for a guy to be able to run that well that big.
Really, as a rookie, is a terrific-looking player. Right now he's in the pass block as Trudeau stands in. He's got problems. Swings it out. He's got Potts again in the open field inside the 20. And Roosevelt Potts thunders down to the 16-yard line. As all of a sudden they're very quiet here at Mile High and up and cheering in Indianapolis.
And, you know, that's what they should not be. I mean, if you're a Bronco fan, you'd want this place to have that deafening noise. But with the Broncos leading by such a large margin, it is quiet here. So Trudeau easily changing calls, calling audibles. I wouldn't be surprised to see a little no huddle at some point coming up from Marcia Broder because he does it so well, because it's so quiet here.
Good point. Now the noise does kick in, though. Not going to give him a pitch back. Anthony Johnson loses his footing, and he gets back maybe to the line of scrimmage. Mecklenburg falls on him quickly. Shane Drenette, Darren Grosdorff, Willie Oshedin across the defensive front for Denver. The backers, Mike Kroll, Carl Mecklenburg, Dave Wyman, and Simon Fletcher.
Well, this is the most excitement that Indianapolis has been able to put forth on offense and finally make a stop on defense. This could be a major momentum changer.
Marcia Broder, a master of pass offense. We'll see what he wants his team to go to now. And Trudeau sees a defense he doesn't like.
He said, you know, he saw a blitz coming, saw those linemen sneaking up, so he called the timeout.
Hi, Super Dave.
Monday on NBC. Jack Trudeau's experience really showing up big here. He sees the blitz coming. He knows he doesn't have the proper protection call, so he wisely calls timeout. There's the guy sneaking up. He sees it, and that's where your veteran quarterback will not make a mistake 20 yards in.
Second down. Colts need 11. To the draw, they go to Roosevelt Potts, and he thunders straight ahead inside the 15-yard line, down to about the 13. Potts went to the Senior Bowl in Mobile last January, looking to make an impression. He told the Colts, "You guys need a good fullback up there, don't you?" They were the coaching staff down there. And he said, "Oh, you better look at me." He said, "I might be MVP of this game," and he was.
He went out and he won the MVP, and they drafted him. Now that's smart.
Rookie stepping right in, second-round draft choice. The top choice of the Colts was a wide receiver out of UCLA, Sean Dawkins. Hasn't played a lot yet, but he's going to be very good, says Marchibroda. Here's Trudeau throwing. Nice pick. Ball taken down by Anthony Johnson. And he's down to the 5-yard line. A terrific play by Johnson, who gets a first down for Indianapolis.
That was a big play. Now, Anthony Johnson is their starting running back, but he lines up quite often at a wide receiver position. You see him wide to the right, settling in a zone. And a great catch. I mean, nothing but hands, ball too high. It wasn't a spiral, so he had to shape his hands to that weird throw. Brought it in. That's a super job.
Lou Holtz had the highest praise for Johnson. As there's Johnson getting down near the goal line at Notre Dame. He said every day he brought to the practice field, he brought to the game leadership and effort on every down. He actually went to play high school football right in South Bend. And he came out as a number 2 draft choice, second-round draft choice, now in his 4th season. Greg Tragan from Utah State, who's been a sound nose tackle for a lot of years, makes the stop in the middle, but the Colts have it point-blank range. Second down and goal. That's the up back. Culver, the second back, and he takes a shot, gets to the goal line. Is there a signal? There is not. No touchdown signal yet. Meanwhile, Steve Atwater was running down the field with the ball. So he came out apparently after Culver was down. It might be the nose of the ball has got to be close to the goal line.
Well, yards get very, very tough down in this area in the field. I thought, you know, you got people diving over people and scrambling. If he could have gotten a little closer to Potts and he couldn't get close enough to Potts. He would have scored had he gotten on Potts' hip.
Crowd really kicks in. Same alignment. High back is Culver. He gets it again. This time around, Culver goes in. Penalty markers down. Culver takes it in, but there is a marker down as the clock is now stopped with 3:48 to play in the 3rd quarter. Holding against Indianapolis.
Number 71 of the offense, 10 yards, repeat 3rd down.
Kevin called for the hold.
It's very difficult to find a holding call, and it's unusual to get a holding call at that point because usually it's just body on body and kind of grunting and pushing underneath. That's an unusual penalty for a guy to make. It's foul for a guy to make at that position in the field. And guess what? They took him out of the game.
Kevin Paul was at left tackle for Will Wolford, who's had some problems with back spasms. Now Will is back in the game. So instead of a touchdown, it is now 3rd and goal from the 11-yard line. Zone defense for the Broncos. Here's the rush. Trudeau takes a look. He's got to let it go. He does and throws it away. Nobody to go to. Great coverage by the Broncos. A big rush by Dronette. And the field goal unit comes out.
You know, once again, Charlie Waters comes up with something. They were blanketing the field. It was zone coverage. And Trudeau had nowhere to go. And once again, the veteran quarterback doesn't throw an interception. He throws it away, so the team has an opportunity to at least get 3 points.
Archibroda really upset with Kevin Paul.
Paul pleading his case, but that's a strange penalty.
Liasucci drives the field goal try up and through. So the Colts do make their first possession of the quarter, productive one, as they trail 28-13.
You know, here's why it's so difficult to figure out this call. All of this stuff in here is just people everywhere. Now, call will reach out. You see him folding around. It looks like maybe he grabbed the jersey, but with all the players falling, that's why I said over and over, it's tough for a referee to see that, and it's usually the lineman doesn't even have time to grab anybody. It's just bam, and then it's over. It's not like pass blocking where you set up and you work, and then you hold the guy.
Kevin Call, affectionately known as Creature Call, played nearby Colorado State. That was a tough call because that play was a bang-bang play, and Culver was right into the gap and into the end zone. He's actually a native of Boulder, Colorado, Kevin Call. Now the Colts will pick it off as they did to open the second half of play. Liasucci continues his fine field goal kicking for Indianapolis this season. He's now hit 10 of 12. Whoa! Ball is down. Caromed off Milburn, down by Russell. And the Broncos start from their 20. Broncos continue to lead the game, although it is getting closer. Now the Broncos set to go. 1st and 10 from their 20-yard line. Elway aligns his team with a double wideout set and a man in motion. That's Shannon Sharp. Here comes the rush. Elway backpedaling, running out of time. Downfield throw, and it's broken up nicely by Ashley Ambrose. So John Elway didn't hit that one. But Ted Marchibroda, the coach of the Colts, who's been in the National Football League for 30 years in various capacities, said to us that John Elway means more to the success of his team than any one player he's ever seen on any other team. That's a pretty high compliment.
That's a great compliment from a guy that's been coaching for over 30 years. So he's seen everything. John Elway, with all of his athletic ability, I mean, he's got so many weapons: speed, foot speed, and creativity.
That was a fine play by Ambrose, the second-year cornerback. Elway takes a look, throws again. He's got an open man. And diving ahead is Vance Johnson across the 40 for a first down for the Broncos.
You know, one of the Denver coaches told me today that one of the reasons that Johnson was let go, not because of his talent, he's back a starter now and making great plays here today. One of the reasons was his big contract. They traded him away. A week later, he's back here because he agreed to take a cut in pay. So that salary cap that'll be in effect next year, affecting teams today. Great play by Johnson.
22-yard gain on the play. Broncos drive on. Late in the third quarter, pitch back to Bernstein. Boom. Full collision with Quentin Coriac. Now let's go to NFL Live in New York and Jim Lampley. Jim?
All right, Don Cricky, the Chiefs are already 3-1. The Broncos may get to 3-1, but the Chargers are having a miserable time of it in the Kingdom. Chris Warren's one-yard touchdown makes it 24-7 Seattle. Rick Meyer back in the game. Seahawks on the verge of winning a third straight for the first time since 1990. Back to Don Cricky.
Thank you, Jim. As Denver looking, as you mentioned, to extend its winning record in the AFC West and stay in a tie with the Chiefs, who were a victor earlier today over the Raiders. Indianapolis, here's another marker fired high in the air at the line of scrimmage as Bernstein can't hold the ball. Could be against the Denver Broncos. It was. Illegal motion is the call. He had a lot of penalties. Beautiful day in Denver. 1:57 to go in the third quarter. Temperature about 80 degrees, clear and sunny. This is not the biggest city in the NFL, but when you start rating cities as far as their value as a sports town,
68 of the offense, not lined up on the line of scrimmage.
same problem, not lined up. Denver has to rate with the great ones. 4.4 million plus for their first-year baseball team. The Broncos have sold out every seat in this huge stadium since 1969. The Denver Nuggets of the NBA play at nearby McNichols Arena. They could sell out every game this season. They've already sold out half of them before the season begins. Put a good team on the field, even one that isn't good yet, like the Rockies, and people in Denver back the cause. Another marker down as Elway throws to Milburn. Hard to get a clean shot on him. Milburn is down to the 42-yard line. Preliminary signal is against, I believe, the Colts. A 14-yard gain on the play.
Offside. Defense. Penalty decline. First down.
They decline that. A 17-yard gain.
You know, John Elway did it again with that loud barking signal. He got 2 linemen that time to jump. And then knowing he had the free play, got the ball to Glenn Milburn, and Milburn is amazing in the open field. It's hard to get him down when he catches the ball in space, open space.
Elway throwing off, and another good grab, this time by Derek Russell, who's out of bounds inside the 35-yard line. Elway with as much pop on the ball as he's ever had now in his 11th season. He had some arm troubles a couple of years ago, underwent some off-season surgery a year ago, and his arms like new.
You know, we're seeing that new, quick, very efficient passing offense that Jim Fassel has brought to this team. 3 steps and a quick throw. Take what the defense will give you.
It's been quite a while, though, since Denver's been in the end zone after scoring on their first 4 possessions of the game, scoring 4 touchdowns to take a 28-0 lead. Throw down the middle and almost a connection. Diving at the ball was Reggie Johnson, one of the tight ends. Very nearly came up with it. It brings up 3rd down and about 3.
You know, they have a clearing right over the middle. Dwayne Bickett is responsible for stopping that, and he puts himself in a position where Elway can't throw the ball, you know, right where he wants to put it. So that's a pretty good job by Dwayne Bickett. He's a tall athlete, put himself right in the line of fire, and Elway couldn't hit his target.
The Indianapolis coach is talking about not being cautious and going after Elway, because if you don't continue the pursuit, it gets even quicker. They're going at him hard. Here's a swing pass to Bernstein, and he is down at the 31-yard line. And it appears he has enough for a first down by the football.
According to the Denver coaches, one of their ratings this year is what an athlete does after the catch. Because with this new short passing offense, they're going to flip balls in the flat and hope for Milburn and Bernstein to break tackles. Look at this. Little quick 5-step drop, a little flip over when there's nothing downfield. Now, it's up to the athlete to make somebody miss. That's a good tackle by Ambrose.
The number 1 defensive goal of the Denver Broncos is to allow 17 points or less a game. In their last game, they allowed only 15 and lost. Here is an end around. It's going to be a touchdown throw. Russell is out there, and he's in. Arthur Marshall, a former quarterback.
Well, that's creative play calling. And was it run to perfection? Super play, great throw, great catch. Sometimes a wide receiver will make a mistake and try to throw this too hard. This one you just lay out there nice and soft, and the fact that Marshall was a former quarterback makes it easy.
Extra point is hit up and good with 9 seconds to play in the 3rd quarter, as the Broncos now extend their lead to 35-13. With a bag of tricks they went. They came up with a gold play.
First, it's a fake inside to Bernstein, worked to perfection. Handed off on the end around, he actually tucked it under his arm and sold it as a reverse. Then stopping and lofting it up. See, he tucked it, sold the play, and then look at the spiral. Nice and soft, up high, an easy catch, and a great touchdown. The number one thing about these plays is you have to sell everything. Sell the fake run, and then stop and throw it up soft. You have to be an actor in the National Football League to make plays like that work.
Arthur Marshall, the man who made the big play, number 86, a wide receiver who doesn't get a lot of work. Derek Russell on the receiving end. High spinning kickoff. It'll be run back by Verdun. 10. That's it. Lilo Lang with a top special teams play. For the Colts, special teams inspired by the touchdown play, and we'll be back after these messages from your local station.
Now take a look at the secondary. This guy has a deep third. This guy's a deep third. Watch the receivers. He just jogs down the field, really selling the play. But the cornerback buys the jog, runs past his receiver, comes out of his deep third. Ambrose at the corner, buying the fake. Belzer at the safety, buying the fake. And it's a touchdown. And you see they're explaining it. They're talking about it. They're discussing it right now. You know, the Good injury really plays up big here. Good was the one talking to Ambrose there. If he were in there, maybe he would have sniffed it out.
Potts breaks it for the moment, and a closing tackle is made as Dennis Smith comes up to stick him. Knocked down at the 22 at the 17-yard line, as we're now in the fourth quarter, and Colts with a huge hole to dig out of if they can. I don't think they can do it by running the ball much.
No, it's time to make something happen. They need how about a reverse pass?
Well, they're sending three wideouts out to the left side now. Good work formation left. Yeah.
Sure did. Got a blitz coming.
Back to the run. Lost his footing at first base.
Now you have to remember that's a 260-pound man that's sticking his nose in the line and then bouncing out a la Glenn Milburn or Tony Dorsett or stuff. I mean, it's amazing what these athletes are doing today. 260 with that type of balance and running skills, it should be illegal.
The Eagles have come back from 14 points down to tie the Jets in the fourth quarter. First down for the Colts. They're down in the game. Big time. Trailing 35-13. Here is the Trudeau throw, and it's a little errant. Anthony Johnson can't hold it. Second down and 10.
Now that's what they needed. It was a nice run fake, a strong run fake. Had the pass been on target, maybe they could have got something going there. But they need to confuse the defense. They need to run some fakes and some reverses. Get them on their heels a little bit. Right now, the Denver defense is confident, it's comfortable, and it's playing well. It's anticipating well.
And you wonder if they won't go to some kind of a hurry-up. Trudeau likes that. He's had good success during his career, he told us, with the hurry-up offense. They ran the no-huddle quite a bit last week in the win over Cleveland.
It's time to hurry up now.
Back to Potts. He breaks a tackle, takes on more tacklers. He's ahead for a first down. Second and 10. He got 10 and a half. Steve Atwater finally got him down. You can see guys kind of shy away from taking this big guy on head on.
Well, we're safe up here. Right? If I was down there, I'd be shying away too. Look, a couple people went blind. So, you'll notice that the defensive players, they lose their sight momentarily. They lose their balance when somebody like Potts comes through there.
Here is Trudeau dumping it over the middle to Potts. This time there's a big hitter right there to meet him, and that's Carl Mecklenburg, who gets a big-time cheer.
Well, you know, whenever the other team is doing something that's working, and Potts has something working in this second half, your big stars are usually the ones that come up and change the momentum. And look at the anticipation. He's already sneaking up on Potts. That's being a veteran. He saw it coming. He was walking up toward him before the ball was even thrown. When Potts caught the ball and turned around, he was attacking.
Anthony Johnson finding room. He's going to get a face mask call in his favor. It'll be a first down for Indianapolis. It would be anyway on the run by Anthony Johnson, but the defensive penalty is an automatic first down. It'll be a face mask call.
Personal foul, face mask, 15 yards. Number 57 for the defense. First down.
Dave Wyman.
Well, Dave doesn't like it. Let's see if we can find it. There's Johnson. Well, it's Fletcher that got it. It was the wrong. He called the wrong person, but the infraction was adjusted. It was a good call. Just the wrong name.
Simon Fletcher doesn't do much wrong out there. I said to him yesterday, you must have been a great basketball player one time because he's long and lean. Said I played 1 year in 7th grade. I made 1 shot all season, never played again. Said I was terrible. His streak of 10 straight games with a sack now in jeopardy. He hasn't had a sack yet today. He'll be coming the rest of the way. Here's Trudeau. Reagan after him, and Trudeau throws it away. Big rush by the nose tackle, Greg Cragen.
Cragen did a fine job that time. I think probably the thing that really disrupts an offense is pressure straight up the middle. And that's what Cragen got. When it's to the left or the right, you can step up, you can step in the pocket. The pocket is totally dissolved if there's pressure straight up the middle.
Only way you beat Dan Marino, that pressure up the middle, comes wide. He just can't wait for it.
That's right. And
last split second, off it goes.
Sure, these guys know how to bleed a pocket. They'll step up if it's from the outside.
Trudeau backpedaling on second down and 10. Long ball, Anthony Johnson. It caroms off the hands of Frank Robinson. Very nearly an interception for the Broncos.
Well, that's pretty bad. Son, you got to catch that one. Those are freebies. That's like catching a punt. He saw it all the way. It was you got to question the throw. Watch him throw it kind of like off his back. Now look at this. You got to catch that. He saw Dennis Smith probably in the corner of his eye. He saw his own teammate and anticipating the collision. Practice that all the time, but for a defensive back, you catch somebody flashes in front of you, sometimes you miss it.
And he missed it. Now it's third down and 10. There are markers down again. Burrell throws. And the ball is tipped away. They're looking at Sean Dawkins, their top draft choice, number 87. But Frank Robinson delivers another good coverage play. But the play was no play because the illegal start came before the snap of the ball. So it's going to be third down and 15.
Illegal formation. The offense, right tackle, not lined up in the line of scrimmage. Number 73, penalty decline, fourth down.
Now, they do that, Don, because they're anticipating the big rush. These the total typical outside linebackers that put all that speed at the corner, like Fletcher, like Mike Kroll. They force those big I won't say overweight, I'll just say big tackles to lean back a little bit, and sometimes they're not on the line of scrimmage.
So they do decline it to make it 4th and 10 now. Trudeau needs 10. He's running out of time. He takes a look. Lets it go long. In the end zone is Dawkins. He has it for a touchdown. He loses it. Incomplete. Sean Dawkins had it and lost it. Almost 6 on 4th and 10.
Now, the last 3 plays, even though one was a dropped interception, the last 3 plays were made by Frank Robinson, number 36. Super job.
Look at this. It's in his arms and out. Back at Mile High Stadium, the much touted and then much maligned Jeff George loosening up the right arm. Looks like he's going to be cutting in with 11:37 left to play in the game, and the Colts way out of it, 35-13. Denver's not punted today. As Elway looks to pump it up on first down and does. Hitting Robert Delpino, who's head for a gain of 9 yards. Corey Adam Bickett on the tackle for the Colts. Elway took a shot after he released the ball.
Yeah, they don't like it when you do that. So I saw the Denver offensive lineman complaining to the referee, so he'll be watching it this next time around. A little shove and a little shoulder. A little shoulder and a little shove.
Denver 8-2 over the years against the Colts. 4-0 here at Mile High Stadium. They last played in October of '91. That was in Indianapolis, and Denver won 27-17. As the Broncos now are going to look to take time off the clock. 10:45 to play. Clock running. Fourth quarter. Broncos, who at one point led 28-0, now leading 35-13. The fake end around with Arthur Marshall, a wide receiver, throwing with some knockout punch, I think, Beasley.
Well, that really did it, because at that point, Indianapolis was starting to not make things turn, but starting to kind of get a little confident, just a little, and that just put the nail in it.
Third down and less than a yard now for the Broncos. Delpino slides ahead, close to midfield. He got 4, and it's a first down, Denver. Jets sit now in a safety gun in front of the Eagles, 30-28. Excuse me, Beasley.
Jim Fossil wanted his Denver Broncos to do 3 things. He's the guy in the middle of your screen right there. He wanted them to protect John, get the passing percentage up, and improve the running game. And that third element has been the big element here today. Bernstein has run well. Milburn has run well, and that diversity makes it tough to defend.
Delpino. Well done by Bob Delpino as he comes inside the 45-yard line of the Colts, down to the 44. Good back for the Rams, durable, workmanlike back, and getting a lot more work today on the active roster for the Broncos. Brings up second down and 4. Thrown for over 250 yards already today. Goes back to the run. Bernstein, who's caught and thrown down, a gain of only a yard. Dwayne Bickett, who had a huge game last week with 3 sacks, including one that freed a football from Testaverde and was recovered by Harrod for a touchdown against Cleveland, made the stop. Third down and 3. And Elway sees something he doesn't like, so John Elway calls timeout. Timeout with 8:10 to play in the game. 35-13 Colts. Back at Mile High, where Wade Phillips and his Broncos are out to a commanding lead, 35-13 in the fourth quarter. Wade's counterpart, Ted Marchibroda, can't do much on the scoreboard as long as Denver has the ball, and they have it right now, 3rd and 3. Incomplete. 4th down, Broncos. This will be the first punt of the day for Denver.
Ruin has been drinking Gatorade and patting guys on the shoulder.
Tom Ruin, the second-year punter from Colorado,
hasn't had to do a thing all day long.
He's done well when he's been in, though. 46.1 is his punting average. Big surprise. 2 new punters here at Denver. They seem to have a good kicking game with Federer and Horan, but Two new guys in, both doing extremely well. Now Jeff George is ready to go to work for the Colts.
Well, he'll start at about the 2 or 3 yard line because that was a simply fantastic 40-yard punt that'll put the new quarterback, Jeff George, with his back to the goal line and under pressure. What a punt.
Well, that's a tough place, Beasley, for Jeff George to come in.
What a tough play. He had everything he wanted. He said he wanted to be the first player picked, and he was. He wanted the highest rookie salary ever, and he got it. And he wanted to play in his hometown, and he got that. And that's why the people in Indianapolis and Coach Marchibroda was so perplexed, is the best word, by his holdout.
Right now, Jeff Jordan and the Colts really up against it. He's going to throw from the end zone. Here's his first throw as he guns the ball out towards Jesse Hester, who had a great game a week ago, but's been taken out of this game by the Denver defense.
Jesse Hester looking for a reception. He's got 49 consecutive games with a catch. He hasn't had one today. That errant pass would have been his first one, so he's one to watch. And also another to watch is Simon Fletcher over on the defense. This 10-game sack ratio in jeopardy.
For the run they go, Anthony Johnson. He is shut down quickly, getting only to the 5-yard line. Denver defense reading run. Game clock ticks down to 7:44 to play.
Here's a tester for Jeff George. He's got 3rd and 7. To come up with a first down is a guy who hasn't had a lot of game time this year because of the holdout, and now as they get him ready to play. This is a big throw for a man who should be a little rusty. We'll find out.
Third down and 7. George looks the ball up. It's caught. That's a completion, but to no avail. Big rush by Simon Fletcher. George underhanding the ball. Completion for no gain, and the Colts will have to punt it from their own end zone.
This is an anti-safety pass. He's not sure exactly where he is, so he gets it out of his hands to make sure he's across the goal line and also sees somebody. So that's a pretty good job. It gives his punter, Ron Stark, a little room.
None better than Ron Stark. Man, wow. This kid can take it to the moon as Milburn lets it hop inside the 35-yard line and down to the 33 of the Broncos from his own end zone.
Hold on. I don't.
New QB in for the Denver Broncos. Second-year man Tommy Maddox out of UCLA comes in to finish up after a terrific effort by John Elway, who hit 20 of 30, staying with that 67% completion mark of this season. 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, so he's got the cap on, and we'll check it out. Shannon Sharp, one of his best receivers. He's going to be done for the day. Also looking forward to going to Green Bay next weekend to hook up with his brother, Sterling Sharp, of the Packers. Running hard is Rob Bernstein. Ball's on the field, and the Colts have it with 6:18 to play. Jason Belzer, playing hard all day long, comes up with the ball.
Well, this is better position for Jeff George as quarterback.
Oh, man, is it?
He'll have some room to work now. We'll see what he can do. This ball just kind of pops out. Nothing wrong with the handoff. Something the defense did. Now, the way Bernstein runs, you notice he kind of hops. He's in the air a lot, jumping up and down. You're kind of prone to mistakes when you play that way. You also make big plays when you play that way.
George looking to throw against the blitz. Here's markers down, and the play is whistled dead.
Ball starts. Try the snap. Number 85 of the offense. 5 yards.
Next weekend is a doubleheader day on NBC Sports, beginning at 12:30 Eastern Time with NFL Live. Then most of you will see the Dolphins and Dan Marino go against the Browns at Cleveland. Some of you will see the Bengals go against the Chiefs in an early game. And then in the doubleheader game, the Jets go against the Raiders at Los Angeles. That's all next weekend here on NBC Sports. Right now, the Jets in a shootout with the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles have just gone in front on a 94-yard interception return by Eric Allen. They lead 35-30 in the fourth quarter over the Jets. What a throw by George. I mean, you can't teach that one.
No, the boy's got talent. That's a la John Elway.
So does Kerry Cash, who caught it, Beasley.
Yeah, absolutely. And knowing that he's about to get popped, you got to remember.
The sounds of a big hit.
Woo, baby. That'll wake you up. Whoa, great catch, great throw.
Broncos defense passing out headaches. Jeff George stands in, lofts the ball down to Hester against double coverage. They're trying more to get the ball to Hester now, who's been quiet. He had over 100 yards in receptions last weekend against the Cleveland Browns.
See, Hester needs one. Keep his streak alive. Of course, George is in the game to extend the zone, so we got to expect him to go downfield. He's got to score quickly, so we'll see him go at more receivers now than backs and tight ends like Trudeau was doing.
Draw play, and going with the ball is Anthony Johnson, and he crashes inside the 20 and down to the 17-yard line with 5:15 to play. Stopped by a first-year safety, Darrell Hall.
Anthony Johnson has got some big-time talent. Over 1,000 yards last year. You don't hear too much about him because the Colts had such a tough first half of the season, but finished up strong. A lot of talent.
He's quick, Anthony Johnson, and he gets the ball a lot. He rushed last season for 592 yards, and he caught passes for 517 to go over 1,000 yards in offense. He was the most productive Colt. Swing pass. Ooh, Anthony was looking at the defense and not at the ball. Incomplete, 2nd and 10.
And see, that's the result, a direct result of the hard hits that the Bronco defense put on receivers and running backs when they catch balls. You start peaking just a little bit. He's upset with himself because that's one thing you don't want to be accused of is, looking for the hit before you catch the ball. That's one of the first things they teach you. Catch it before you run with it.
Clock down to 4:36 to play. George gets time running out of it. Here's a throw. Too much on it. It's picked. A skip ball, and Dennis Smith picks it off. On the run is the 13-year veteran from Southern California. And he gets a standing ovation as the Colt threat is stopped. One of the downsides of a super strong arm. The ball skipped like a rock off a pond.
Take a look at Simon Fletcher from the outside, almost getting there to extend his streak, but forcing George to get rid of a ball very quickly. He's about a step away. But that wasn't George's fault. That came off of the wide receiver's hand.
Dennis knows what to do with it, too, when he catches it.
There I was.
John Elway, his work well done today as he had led the Indianapolis Colts down to a loss that they've never won here. They'll be 0-5 at Mile High, and Elway and the Broncos continue their dominance on the home field. This will be their 19th win at Mile High in their last 21 home games. Mannix hands off to Del Pino, and he breaks it up the middle. He's ahead for a first down. Now let's go to NFL Live in New York and to Jim Lampley. Jim?
All right, Don, introducing a brand new contender in the AFC West. Here's Rick Meyer throwing 18 yards to Kelvin Martin to make it 31-7 Seattle. Meyer today, 24 of 39, 276, 1 touchdown. Seahawks win for the 3rd straight time. First time since 1990. They are arriving. Don Criqui.
Yes, they are. And Rick Meyer, he's the talk of the league right now. As a rookie, graded out in the top half of the AFC quarterbacks through the first 3 games he played. Talked about him being a Montana play-alike, and he's been that. A great rollout thrower as Del Pino breaks it and comes inside the 30. And the Broncos now with the Colts on the ropes keep delivering knockout runs.
John Elway told us that Del Pino had great instincts and he runs very, very hard. Look at that skip break. It's very hard to make a 90-degree cut when you run at full speed. He did it, and then look at the power. Boy, I tell you, he told us he was going to get the ball. He's getting the ball, and he's making the best of it. 72 yards rushing. How about that?
Get it some more. There's some strange material being. What is that stuff flying down there?
That's the string of a king.
Here is a handoff straight ahead, and the marker comes in. Referee fired that in after the play. Holding call against the Broncos. 2:49 to play. The weeks ahead for the Denver Broncos will be interesting as Dale Heemer.
Holding number 75 of the offense. 10 yards. Repeat first down.
And Ryan Habib. Next week at Green Bay, then the Raiders come to Mile High, an open date. Then Seattle comes in, and all of a sudden, as Jim Lampley is pointing out, Seattle is a team you have to look at as a contender. 3 straight wins, they go to 3-2. In November, they head to Cleveland. Have the Vikings come in here. First down and 20 for Tommy Maddox and the Denver Broncos. 3 yards in a pile of dust. Woody Hayes would have loved this as the Broncos just looking to run the clock with their commanding lead 35-13. Indianapolis takes on Dallas next week. Open date on October 17th for the Colts. Then on to Miami. Then home to play New England. Off to Washington. Then the Jets come in. Tough scheduling for the AFC East because they have to hook up with the NFC East, which might be the best division in football.
Ted Marchibolo knows exactly what the Broncos are trying to do. Just run the ball. They'll be handing it off unless they just have to pass. Running out that clock.
Del Pino keeps pounding away. He keeps getting stuck there at second base. And that'll do it. The 2-minute warning is given here at Mile High Stadium. Now let's take a look at the Hager wrinkle-free cotton super play of the game, and it was a super one as Elway takes the snap.
And one of the oldest trick plays around, the old reverse, and the nice throw by the former quarterback Arthur Marshall into Derek Russell for the touchdown. A great play that stopped every thought of an Indianapolis momentum change.
Arthur was a top high school quarterback in Georgia. Then went on to be a third-team All-American receiver at the University of Georgia. And today he becomes a quarterback again to put the knockout punch on. That made it 35-13 where it now stands. Del Pino, his big assignment here is stay in bounds. He does. Gets it down to the 25-yard line.
Smart cut by Del Pino. And when he turns it north and south, he really turns it on. He's approaching 100 yards and doing exactly what he's supposed to do here in the waning moments.
A big rushing day for the Broncos. That's been important, Beasley.
You know, they said they wanted to improve the running game. They got the ball to a lot of people, 186 yards on the ground. And you do that, with John Elway at quarterback, you can win any game.
That's just about 3 times what they've been averaging per game. They've been averaging only 64 yards a game. 4th down run. They just look to run the clock. And the Colts will take over with 1:11 left to play. While their offense comes out, we'll take this break. With Beasley Reese, this is Don Criqui back at Mile High Stadium. The Broncos closing in on a victory. Right now, Jeff George fires in the flat to Jesse Hester. Tries to split 2 defenders and cannot. Game clock ticks on down close to 1 minute to play. That was Jesse's first catch of the day.
The Denver defense will allow Jeff George to just throw the ball underneath, come up and try to make a tackle. Looks like Fletcher will not get his sack unless he comes up with something real big now. Of course, he's got a streak of 10 consecutive games, best and first time ever in the NFL. He's got 2 or 3 more rushes to get one.
Second down coming up. He needs 4. 4-man rush. Downfield throw, a bit too high.
Fletcher was so close. And he's been close on 2 or 3 tries today. And you know he's thinking about it right now. He knows that it's just about over. Watch this. Comes around the corner. The shoulder slap uppercut and just a half step away.
That gives us a chance to tell you that the executive producer of NBC Sports is Tommy Roy. The coordinating producer of NFL football, John Paratzis. Today's game was produced by John McGinnis, directed by John McDonough. NFL Live produced by Ricky Diamond. NFL Live directed by Kelly Atkinson. Handoff goes straight ahead. Gain of only about 3. Technical directors Jimmy Johnson and Richard Sansevier, and we thank them all. As the Denver Broncos, after a non-playoff season a year ago, looking like a contender again. Tremendous effort. They came out of the blocks as fast as you can come out of them. 4 possessions, 4 touchdowns. Wade Phillips has to be well pleased. It gets tougher next week. They go on the road. John Elway in his 11th year, playing better than ever. Final numbers up, 35-13. Broncos are the winner. We'll be back.